What's going on, everyone? You can see my dirty phone case and my dirty PlayStation. So as you can see, PS3 right in front of us. We're going to go ahead and deal with this one today. Should be an easy, quick little build. It's already built. We're just going to replace our radiator and our reservoir. So we're going to drain our system, disassemble it. We're going to get this temperature display sanded down on the those little corners there so that this will fit in there perfectly. Now I believe I just used double-sided tape on that like 3M adhesive on these little mounts there, so we'll be taking those off and using, it's very dark in here, the XSPC passive reservoir, which has different mounts. It's a lot shorter than the reservoir that's on there. There's a radiator here. I had them on the R2D2 Xbox. I mean, just not installed, just sitting there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would look pretty cool, but regardless, I think we're going to put them on here. I want to get this thing revamped, mainly because I was about to use it, play an old Blu-ray movie, but the wiring underneath the fan is kind of sticking up into the fan blades, so yeah, if I hold the wires down, we're good, but it's very loud, so can't have that. On top of that, we're going to take apart these controllers. Get that turned on. We're going to take apart these controllers. This one will hold a charge a little bit. This one is completely dead. The thumbsticks will light up when you have it plugged in for like a few seconds, and then they'll keep shutting off. So we've got some new batteries we're going to be putting in those, and yeah, should be a fun project. Let's get to it. Alright, so this one will be very easy to drain. You've got this drain plug on the end, it sticks out, got it over our sink. Just take that plug out, let it drain almost all the way out. Well, as much as we can. It's not all going to come out, but that's fine. As long as most of it's out, we can take the tubing off and start to take this thing apart. And I've shown how to take this apart before, just like a normal PS3. Take the screws out on the bottom, and the whole top lifts off, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll get those wires secured, and well, we'll be back when it's open. Alright, got all that drained, took our old reservoir off, just put some paper towels here to put our fittings on. Put some plugs on our radiator after draining it, just so that whatever's left in there as we flip this upside down, I don't get water everywhere. I definitely didn't do that already. Yeah. So, I promise that's from the the PlayStation. Anyway, we'll get the screws off, and then we can take this up, unscrew the screws that go through our fan to the radiator, get those taken off, kind of figure out where we're going to go with our tubing, because obviously this one had here and here, and this one will be there and there, or at the bottom, but probably at the top. I don't know. We'll see. It will be a lot cleaner if we can get it to, like this one, to just loop right around here. But we'll have to see. That might kink this. Maybe we'll have the two here, and we'll be able to kind of just clip in with a 90. But then we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that one, loop it around. Because again, our reservoir only has the two options. Well, one option, because there's only two areas here. There's none on the bottom. It's just that one. And then the whole top comes off. That's to fill the system. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to look really cool, though. We might have it more off to one side, so then there'll be pretty much nothing here. I am worried about taking these off, though. I'm hoping it doesn't take the finish off. Worst case scenario, surprisingly, you can still get the chrome shell. That's like the only aftermarket shell you can still get. XCM has a Etsy account, I believe. I really thought they still had the clear cases, but they're just selling the fans. And in the picture, it has the clear shell. So it's a little confusing, but one of the reviews said it doesn't actually come with the shell, it just comes with the LED fan. So, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, time to take the screws out and get this the rest of the way apart. Okay, here we are, the inside. Here's our top half. Shout out to YouTube. So, one, I was right, that other cube is right here. Awesome. It's a wiring mess right now, but I just took out the UV strip. Probably save that for the 360. Doesn't really do much in this because you can't actually see into the system much. Yeah, plus I think this fan has UV lights in it, so that's good enough. Anyway, we got our XSPC pump, our temperature display, and then obviously I can't exactly take the button off, which would be nice because then I could totally separate this, but right now this fan is disconnected. I left the 4-pin on here so that we can use this to plug into our source, and then the other one is to plug the pump into, so that's all wired in together. Yeah, so next step, I'm going to just take these screws out, remove our radiator, pop the new one in. I'm going to reuse the same fan because it's already blue and has the lights. Alright guys, got this new radiator installed. I had to use different screws. They were actually screws from one of the water blocks. They were just barely long enough to get this installed on there, but as you can see, it's on. Same fan, like I said. We're going to be using kind of a weird orientation up front here, but that's just so that we have a spot to easily drain the system, as there's no extra ports on our reservoir to do so, and the top of it will only be right here. So you can see I marked out where I need to drill a couple holes for those mounting brackets for that reservoir. And then this one, which looped around this way into our old radiator, is now flipped this way, and I'll have to cut it. It's just going to go straight up into here, and then this one will go straight into the reservoir, and then this will have a 90 going from the reservoir to the pump. So that one's going to be exactly the same. So we just got to drill these holes out real quick, mount the reservoir, and yeah, make sure all the wiring is not in the way of the fan this time, and then we'll be ready to put it back together, fill it up with water. Alright everyone, there's fingerprints everywhere from handling this thing. I went ahead and I'm out of UV blue, which is a clear fluid, but under UV it turns blue. As you can see here, before we had this UV light kind of plugged into one of those plug towers that went into the reservoir. You can see it right there, has a spot for LED. And yes, I'm probably going to put that reservoir on the R2D2, where is it, /clear Slim. We'll swap this one out up here. I might actually take the fan out of the inside, and we'll just have a full reservoir up top. See if we can fit the pump on the inside. Anyway, here it is. So, I could have just done distilled water. I also have the pastel red that's in our Xbox One. That obviously, I don't think that would go with this. And I don't think there's any real point in that. You'd only see it in the tubes and the reservoir here. But I thought the UV pink might actually look kind of cool on this, so that's what we went with. Now this is technically a UV blue radiator as well. Now, unfortunately, although this is a UV blue fan, the LEDs themselves, I'm pretty sure, are just blue LEDs. Because I had those in my PC tower, and they didn't glow at all until they had a UV strip shining onto them. Then they glow actually very well. But yeah, so I tried to fill it up as much as I can, kind of tilted the system around to get some of this other stuff filled up, and then refilled it again all the way to the top. Now there's definitely not as much volume on the inside of this reservoir as there was on that reservoir. Don't know if you can see, but there's fins on the inside, and they go all the way through to the outside, and that's why this is called a passive reservoir. It would be under the category of a radiator slash reservoir. It's made by XSPC. I don't think you can find these anywhere now. I still look for them from time to time, but anyway, I'm going to turn this off so we can get the UV effect. I will need to tilt this up as far as I can so that we're not going to run our pump dry, because as you can see, there's still like no fluid in that tube, so there's still a lot of air bubbles, and I'm just worried that it's going to suck this fluid all the way down. But especially on the exit port, there is about that length of a tube that sticks up, and that's so that, you know, if you got your inlet and outlet right in the same spot on your reservoir, where the fluid comes out can interfere with where it's trying to draw fluid out. So that's why that one's got a longer tube on it, just to kind of draw from the bottom. But yeah, let's go ahead and it's going to be kind of difficult for me to hold the camera and deal with this, because I want to be able to hold it completely sideways, and then once it runs through, I'm going to refill the reservoir up all the way, and then we'll have a little last video clip showing it working. And yes, I still need to sand these down. It was raining today, and I just didn't want to go out and sand those down, but I just have a file, and this will just pop right out, and there's enough wire where I can just hold it away from the system to file down those little nubs, and it'll be able to sit down in there all the way. But I do have it plugged in, so you can see this is our button, 20 Celsius. So anyway, I'll be back. Alright guys, here we are at the end. Or is it? As you can hear, there's still some wire, and I just can't figure out which one the fan is rubbing on. Super annoying. So, and I can take this out and kind of fish around the wires a little bit. Honestly, I think it's the actual wires on the fan that are just like sticking up and hitting it. Otherwise, I don't know. I can't see. I can see wires right there, but they're definitely not like sticking up from what I can see. I've also realized the LEDs on this fan are cut. I have 3 of these fans, 2 mediums and 1 low. This is a low, and that just refers to the RPMs. So basically, the glow I had before was from the UV strip under there. I thought it actually had the lights working on there, but so I'll either have to put the UV strip back in there, which is very crowded in there, and I don't really want to do that. So I think I'm just going to swap in this other one. The third one I have cut the wires off of it completely, like right here, for some other project. But this one actually has the LEDs hooked up. So I think I'm just going to clean this one up and put that in there. And yeah. Again, I don't want to waste this fluid, so I'll just have to drain this fluid back into the bottle, I guess. Because I don't think I have quite enough to empty this and refill it back up. But as you can see, there's still a little bit of air bubbles going in there. So I'll just have to let it like run for a while, and let all the air bubbles hopefully get to the reservoir, keep it tilted so that it all starts to get up to the top here. That way I can take this off, because right now when I tilt it up, I can't fill this up anymore. It stays up in here, but I think there's still an air bubble up in our radiator. So that's something I'll have to, like I said, just let it run and sit upwards. So that's a real bummer, but yeah, it's the end of this video. This is pretty much what it's going to be like. Give or take LEDs here, which will hopefully make all this glow. I'm pretty sure the LEDs in these fans, though, are just regular blue, and it's just the color of the fan that's UV reactive, if I remember right. And I think that's why I actually cut the LED wires to the two medium fans that I had when they were in the PC case. But yeah, you can see the UV light in here making the fluid glow a little bit. It's not the strongest, but it looks pretty cool from here. And then yeah, we'll just swap this in, and then last thing I need to do, which is kind of boring, I don't think I really need to show it, but I'm just gonna take a few screws out of the back of the controllers. The back comes off. I just did this to a couple of my friends' PS4 controllers because the charging port was bent, so I fixed that for him. Swapped out the thumbsticks because his kid chewed them off pretty much, and swapped the batteries out on them. They literally just unplug, plug in the new ones. So hopefully that's all good. And yeah, once I get all those little things tidied up, then we'll have our little final reveal video of this system. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this build, and let me know if you're interested in buying this, because I'm still back and forth on wanting to sell it. You can see I cleaned up this a little bit. There are some scratches, but I don't know, that looks pretty clean to me, especially in the dark. Very mirror-like. Cool system. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next video.